So now we'll take a look at the View Filter Manager. We've imported some data so that we can actually show you some of these commands. So on the Home tab, there's a View Filter Manager icon. It looks like a little funnel. It's also accessible from the Quick Access toolbar. So I'm going to click on the View Filter Manager here, and it's going to turn on a pane or a panel over here above our Project Explorer. So down below, you'll see there's two tabs. I can switch between the Project Explorer and the View Filter Manager. The View Filter Manager basically allows you to turn on layers of objects. So now that we've imported data, you'll see that we've got layers. And these layers are kind of categorized into different groups. So within these different groups, you've got the raw survey data, you have your photogrammetry information if you have that, you have flags, and the layers are all the CAD layers, as well as the surfaces have their own layers. So you see here, if we come down, we have a surface, and that surface has layers. If we turn that off, all the surfaces will turn off. So the surfaces are the triangles. The other things that you can do with this is control what gets displayed. It's basically a query or a filter manager, just as like it's called. So you have this filter called My Filter, which is there by default, and as well as one is All. If you set it to All, basically everything is displayed, and you can see that it's locked, so you can't really modify or change or make edits when it's on All. So you want to have it set to My Filter, or you want to go ahead and create your own filter. So you can use filters for different views and different, restoring different layer sets or different layer combinations or different data combinations. So you would do that simply by clicking up here and copying this view filter. So now I have a copy of this one, and then with that copy I can turn off certain things and hide certain things. So you can name it, and if I click OK here, you can see now if I come in and I turn off the surfaces and I turn off the raw data, when I go back to My Filter, you'll see that I have the ability to, it turns everything back on, so it'll turn that data back on. The other things you can do is you can delete the filter. You can use these to kind of turn layers on and off and do different things. If I come up here, I can isolate layers, I can zoom extents, I can hide layers of selected objects, or I can view only layers of selected objects. So for example, if I was to pick on this grid and click this hide here, it's going to hide the layers of those objects. So you can see I can come in here and turn those layers off. I can also do the opposite, where I can only view those selected layers, so it'll basically only isolate or see that information. So if I was to click on this and click this one, view only selected layers, then it's going to just show the points. Okay, and I can turn surfaces off as well. So that just controls the layers. You can see the layers are turned off down here. Now I can turn them all back on just simply by clicking on the checkbox here, and I can turn off any layers just by unchecking them in this view. The other thing that I can do is I can come up to this selection set, and with this drop down you can see all the data that's been imported. So if I click on just a sanitary sewer, what shows down here is display members of selected. So if I do this and I click OK, it's only selecting or only showing that information. So if I come back up here and I want to see just the CAD data, I can click on that along with the sewer line, and it's going to display the CAD data and the sewer line, or if I turn the sewer line off. So it's kind of a quick way to filter through the data that you have imported into your project. You can also hide members of selected. So if I don't want to see, let's say, these surfaces, then I could do that and click OK, and it will display that. Or if I don't want to see the land XML data, I can click on that one and click here and say hide and click OK, and it's only going to show this information. So again, by unselecting it, I can just set that back and display everything. Now up top, this last icon is an advanced filter. You can also see that there's a drop down over here that I can pull down, and I can rename the view filter. So if you want to rename that view filter, you can do that here. When you click on that, you'll see that it adds that to the toolbar. You can also make this larger, and that information will display. So if the box is too small, it actually will show up in a drop-down where you can select those objects from here. But if I click on the Advanced Filter Manager, you can see that you can come in here and you can rename it, you can lock it or unlock it, and you can include newly created layers when you're creating this view filter. So within here, you can turn off certain things. So like if I don't want to see the raw data, I can simply toggle it off here. If I only want to look at certain points of the raw data, I can choose these, choose one of these objects down here. Now the other thing you can do down below, you can also control the point views, the observations, or other display options, which also will show up down below. So here you can see that it's displaying all the points, and it's displaying the point number. So if I turn off the point IDs and I just want to see the feature codes, then you can toggle this on and off. Here, if I want to show the elevations, I can toggle those on as well. So here I could come in and say I want to see just the feature code, and it will display the feature codes of the points that are in your project.